So what is going on, guys? I hope you are all having an amazing weekend. Thank you once again for taking your time and tuning in to another one of my videos. But today for you, we have the top 5 secrets and things you didn't know about the map 5. Now, this was very random when we first received 5 in Black Ops. It was a special map. It was a hidden, it was a secret map. The only way to unlock this, at first we thought, was by completing the campaign in the original Black Ops. You can actually obtain it by going into the computer system in the main menu. When we finally unlocked this map, not too much was known about it. It really didn't have a relevance to the main storyline. And honestly, now in Black Ops 3, it still doesn't have too much of a significance to our main storyline, or at least that's what we think, unless we find out something outstanding in DLC 4, where Treyarch are going to link everything up. Maybe there's something we don't know. As far as the story of this connecting to our original storyline, or our main premise storyline, it's really not too much there, hence why this is one of the most mysterious maps we have in Call of Duty Zombies. We know the map 5 takes place in the Pentagon, and the characters we are playing as is JFK, who was the 35th president of the US, Robert Nick Mamara, who was the US Secretary of Defense. I've probably just totally butchered that guy's name. We also have Fidel Castro, we all know this guy, the Prime Minister of Cuba, and then we have Richard Nixon, my favourite out of the lot, purely because how funny this guy is, who was the US presidential candidate. And these were all around the 1960s. We know the map 5 is taking place during the Cold War era, once again in the 60s. So we are playing as these real life characters. Now the map name 5 refers to the DEFCON levels on this map. It could also refer to the sides of the Pentagon, obviously having 5 different sides. That's a little bit of information about the map. Let's get into the top 5 list. So here we go, coming in at number 5. Now in the panic room, or the room where you can pack a punch your weapons, on the wall you can actually find a portrait of Richthofen. Not only Richthofen, but the same blank portrait we see within Kino der Toten. On my top 5 things you didn't know about Kino, if you want to check that out if you haven't seen it already, I will link it in the description below. Thank you for all of the support on that video, by the way. It was amazing. But within Kino, you can see 5 different portraits. One of them is blank, but the other 4 are of our original characters, Takeo, Dempsey, Nikolai, and Richthofen. Now, the same portrait of Richthofen you see in Kino can be found also within 5. And this is interesting because why the hell is a portrait of Richthofen in the map 5, a map that has no significance to our Origins characters? We don't have an explanation as to why we see it in Kino. That's strange enough as it is, because from what we know, Richthofen has never been to Kino before. When we play that map, Richthofen tells us that he's never seen this secret research lab of Group 935. Although he works for them, he's never actually been to Kino itself. So it's strange that not only him, but our original characters are portraits in that map, but now we are seeing Richthofen in the map 5. This is strange because the Pentagon is the headquarters of the United States Department of Defense. And Richthofen is this evil, notorious scientist working for Group 935 and the Nazi Party. So why is he framed up on a wall inside of the panic room in 5? This really is a mystery. This for me is one of those things you have to look at and say, does this mean something or doesn't it mean anything? Is this just a cool little Easter egg Treyarch decided to throw in, or does it have a background to it that maybe we'll find out in DLC 4 when everything is put together? Anyway, let's take a look at number 3. Now for me, this is just a cool little thing they added into 5. I know a lot of people don't know about these Easter eggs because 5 isn't really a map that people played all too much. I admit it's not the best, and I don't think it was ever intended to be something big. But the Winter's Hull, our wonder weapon in the map 5, can be found on the 3rd floor all the way at the bottom on a table with some work tools surrounding it. From my knowledge, we've only ever seen the Winter's Hull twice, in this map 5 and also in Verrucht. But we saw it in Verrucht on the Black Ops version, so later on. Now if you take a close look into this weapon, you can see on the left side the casing is actually removed, which exposes all of the circuitry, all of the insides, which to me implies that the weapon is still in development. When we used it in the map 5, the weapon doesn't seem to be finished. You gotta admit it's not the best, but it's definitely one of the more interesting weapons or wonder weapons that we have. It fires a blizzard of ice at the zombies. The zombies then start to freeze up and will eventually explode and shatter. I mean, we don't really have too much background about this weapon. We don't know who created the Winter's Hull, but we can guess from this, or at least take a speculation, that it was created at the map 5. Or if not, experimental versions of this were taken to the Pentagon for more research on this weapon. Maybe to gather the ideology of this weapon, so the scientists at the Pentagon could discover how this worked. Like I said, we do not have a background on it. Hopefully it is something that can be explained, but we do find it in the third quarters in the map 5 as a very cool Easter egg. It looks like it's being taken apart with tools surrounding it. Coming in at number 3 is something I didn't know about until I did more research on it, but the mainframe of the teleporters we can find built by Group 935 can actually be found once again in the third floor in the Pentagon. If you look through this window next to the AK, you can see we have the base of the mainframe teleporters. You can only just see the edge of it because it's hidden behind the curtain, but the base part of the mainframe teleporters for some reason are at the map 5. But why is a German piece of technology in the Pentagon? Now, doing a bit of research, I found that a piece of intel tells us that all Wonderwaffe projects were sent to the American controlled facilities. The mainframe and teleporters were most likely used by American scientists to create their own teleporters. We know the MDT was built by Dr. Ludovic Maxis and Edward Richthofen alongside with their secret weapons in Der Riese, including the Wunderwaffe DG2. However, they had many problems with them. In the map 5, we see teleporters that were created later on by the US Army, but you can see they are different. They are actually coloured red instead of the usual colour, which is blue, that we would see built by Group 935. And this is because the US were using teleporters that were created by the Nazis as examples. But we can see the teleporters created by the US were clearly not as good as the ones by the Nazis. When we go through them in the game, they take us to random locations, not a specific location, and also the zombies can follow us through them. Although they got their hands on this German technology, they couldn't seem to recreate their own teleporter as good. Now, coming in at number 2, I definitely think this one is really interesting. If you take a look at where Quick Revive is located in the map 5, and then if you come over to the main loading area within Black Ops, when you go onto the zombies loading section and take a look at the screens, now and again you will see the map 5 pop up. You will see a CCTV camera watching in the hallways, but you will notice Quick Revive is in the wrong location. As far as I know, the perk machines in this map don't change, but the location we can see on the CCTV camera of Quick Revive isn't the same location that we actually see it in game. It's in a different location. Could this be that Treyarch just messed up? I don't know. I don't think Treyarch would mess up like that. I think they're a lot more detailed. They know what they're doing. I think this could be a small little Easter egg that they actually added into the game themselves. Maybe it is that, Quick Revive was located here when they first designed this map and decided to change it. However, Quick Revive, when we see it on the CCTV, is different to when we actually see it in game. And finally, coming in at number 1, we have the zombies. Now, I must say that I haven't put this list in a specific order. My number 1 for this list probably would have been the mainframe teleporters. But anyway, let's talk about number 1. So we have boards all over this map, little clipboards of the zombie experiments. We'll see in the background in 5 next to the mainframe, there are those little test pods that we see in Kino. The ones that we thought were for the Nova 6, but we can see there are blueprints, there are schematics for the Hellhounds for zombies. A lot more than just weapon research and teleportation was going on at the map 5. It seems like the scientists here over at the US were also trying to work with Element 115 themselves and create their own type of super soldiers. There's also evidence of them trying to create their own Nova 6 crawlers, but this shows a lot more was going on at 5 than we originally think. Apart from that, a couple of small Easter eggs that I thought were cool is the fact that we can see the Treyarch logo on the metal detectors that we can actually turn into traps if you collect 2 different pieces. There is a note or a piece of scrap paper in the starting room that reads Ignomia Jubileus, which actually translates into laughable mistake. In fact, the Wunderwaffe DG2 was originally supposed to be featured in this map, along with Hellhounds and our original crew. It seems like 5 was going to be our main map, but was later on turned into what it is now. Why, we don't know. Maybe it wasn't good enough for the story. Honestly, a lot about this map is a mystery. But there we go, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Those were the top 5 things you didn't know about 5. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you haven't already dropped a like rating, what are you doing? Hit the like button. If you found out something new today that you didn't know already, then a like rating would mean a lot to me. Thank you for watching, guys. Subscribe for more videos, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.